All of a sudden there's something wrong with my tripod. It won't go any higher. Do I normally stand back further? I don't know. Anyway, welcome back. This is What's Cooking? I'm gonna do something today that I kind of maybe did. I don't know. But I'm gonna do Char-siu. Bless you. Excuse me. No, Char-siu. I'm doing Chinese BBQ with some pork. I've watched quite a few videos on this. Everybody's got a different recipe for what they do, but I got the main ingredients, and that's all that matters. Also, people start with a pork shoulder. Why? It's already cut up. This is almost 2 pounds for $7. All right. These are the what they call the boneless, the country style ribs. Okay, they're not ribs. This is pork shoulder, just cut into strips. They also sell it. They also still call it country style ribs, but it's loin. Make sure you get the shoulder, not the loin. Anyway, so we got to start a marinade for this. So down here. So this is basically what we're going to be using. We've got our what is this? Oyster sauce. We're going to be using some dark soy sauce. We're also going to be using some regular soy sauce. We're going to be using honey. Huh? I thought somebody was calling me. We're also going to use some honey. Yeah, who is that? Oh, never mind. All right, so we're also going to use some honey. A little bit of black pepper. A lot of people have white pepper. I don't know what white pepper is, so we'll use black pepper. We're also going to use some sesame oil. We're going to use hoisin sauce. We're going to use a little bit of some apple cider vinegar. We're going to put a little bit of onion powder in there, a little bit of garlic powder in there. This is up to you. Chinese 5-spice. Some of these things, like the 5-spice, the oyster sauce, and dark brown sugar, the dark soy sauce, I had to get from my local Asian market because they don't sell this in regular grocery stores. There are a lot of stuff calls for the 5-spice, but if you do not like this, you can skip it because it's powerful. Woo! It smells good, but if you put too much, forget about it. So, Chinese 5-spice. Okay, yeah, there was one more thing. Also, red food coloring, option. But this is what gives it that deep red that you see in Chinese pork. So let's start mixing some stuff up. Almost forgot brown sugar. That's it. Let's start with a ½ cup of hoisin sauce. I need to get a new tripod because I'm about to throw this one through the freaking window. Anyway, so start with a ½ cup of hoisin sauce. All right, and we're going to do a ½ cup of brown sugar. I'm using dark brown sugar. And you don't have to heat this up. I like to let the sugar dissolve. So you just have to let it cool before you actually add it to your meat. So I'm just going to do like a teaspoon or so of the apple cider vinegar. This is where the measuring goes out the window. All right, so we're going to do a ½ cup of soy sauce. And then we're going to do a couple of tablespoons of your oyster sauce. Oops. I'm sorry, this is the dark brown soy sauce. Same thing though, just a couple of teaspoons of that. We're going to do about a tablespoon of our oyster sauce, which is pretty thick. Chunk, 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 chunk. That's about it right there. I'm going to do about a tablespoon of your sesame oil. Do like a teaspoon of black pepper. Let's see, we got a little bit of our onion powder. Just about the same thing, not a lot on this, just about a tablespoon. A little bit of our garlic powder, same thing, about a tablespoon. Moving everything, so I'm just going to use my fingers and just that. That's it. Yeah, I could already smell that 5-spice just blossomed throughout this entire kitchen. Alright, then we're going to take our honey. But it's only about 2 tablespoons of honey. So we'll leave it at that. Give this a good stir. Alright. And now on your food coloring, it's only a couple of drops. Okay. Whoa. Alright, so it's going to be red. Alright. So that's blended enough. The sugar's all dissolved. So I'm going to set this aside and just let it cool off. Alright, this has been sitting long enough. So take your pork and grab yourself a bag. Don't be like me and buy the quart size. Get yourself the gallon size. And stick your pork pieces in there. If you want to cut these up smaller, if you want to cube them, you can do that any way you want. I'm going to leave these exactly the way they came in the package. Right? Take your pork. Stand it up like that. Pour this in. Leave the air in there right now. Whoop. Squisher, squishy, squishy, squishy. Alright. Get your air out of there. Alright. Get your air out of there. And that ought to be good. Let's get some more air out of there. There. Stick this in the refrigerator. I'm going to leave it till tomorrow. So probably it'll be almost 24 hours before I cook these guys. Alright, it's been 24 hours. Let's see how we did. It's like a bag of blood. Ooh. Let those drain off. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to let these drain off and rest on the counter for about an hour before I put them in. Don't throw this away. We need this. We're going to put it in a pot and we're going to bring it to a boil. As long as it boils for 5 minutes, it's perfectly safe because we need a glaze. Alright, I got these in. Just put them in. I'm going to start them out. It's still preheating, but I shoved them in anyway. I started them out at 450 for the first 20 minutes. Try to get a good char on and sear on there. And then I'll lower the temp down to probably about 225 for a few hours. I need to clean this thing. Alright, catch you back here shortly. Alright, so I got my rice cooking. I got my marinade, which is now a glaze, at a rolling boil. I'm going to let that reduce for a while. Turn these guys down to 220 and set it for 2 hours, but after just 20 minutes I checked the temp, and the internal temp, some of them are already at 145, some are at 155. So, I mean, this thing's just cooking way too fast. Alright, so these are just about there. Look at that. Beautiful red. Looks like Chinese pork. Hopefully it tastes like it. Alright, do I want to do this the easy way or the hard way? I could either brush this on, then I got to clean that. I'm just going to dip these on in the bowl. Dip them in. Scoot off the excess. And then I'm going to set these back down and then stick them under the broiler for just until this coating caramelizes and gets nice and burnt in some spots. By the way, the entire time I'm cooking, I do keep water in this lower pan. Helps keep it moist and stuff doesn't stick. Let me shove these back in. Alright, let's cut one of these up and see what we got. Alright, let's plate these up. Not that I know what I'm doing. Look at that. Yeah, look, you don't even need a knife. Let's throw some of this sauce on there. Char-siu or Chinese pork. Try this piece. Wow. That is really good. Guys, try it. It's not that hard to make. I'm gonna eat another piece. Throw some rice in there. Maybe I could have been a cook instead of a truck driver. Who knows? Maybe I'd still be married. I doubt it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you on the next one. Joe's out.